G'day viewers, I bring you news tonight that proposals to make marriage equality law in Australia are doomed! Doomed, I tell you! They've been doomed by the flawless logic of the Australian Christian lobby. Quick backgrounder. Former Prime Minister Tony Abbott, very much an opponent of marriage equality, came up with the idea that rather than allowing members of his own party to vote freely and other members of the parliament to vote freely on whether marriage equality should be law, he would have a public vote, what's known as a plebiscite. See, if members of his own party were allowed to vote freely and the other parties also voted freely, it's almost definite they would have voted to make it law. And Abbott didn't want that. He said, I'm going to go to the public in a plebiscite. Now look, maybe he was under the mistaken impression that there would be a no vote. I say mistaken because pretty much every survey ever done showed a consistent, quite significant majority support for marriage equality here in Australia. More likely, it was just a stalling tactic. That all became a bit of a moot point when he was rather hilariously dumped by his own party and replaced by Malcolm Turnbull, who's a known advocate for marriage equality. Little bit of a wrinkle in this, the vocal minority of the Liberal Party who still support Tony Abbott and are sure St. Tony's going to come back and rescue them, they really hate the progressive attitudes on social subjects that Malcolm Turnbull professes, and he knows they hate him, and the even more conservative coalition partner, the National Party, really hate him and his progressive ways, and so to stop them going into some crazy revolt against him, he's kicked back a bit and he just said he would stick by the plebiscite. We've recently had the interesting and not all that surprising spectacle of Conservative members of the government saying that, well, even if a plebiscite says yes, we're going to vote no. So according to their mentality, it's like, well, the government can't vote because that'd get a result I don't want, so it has to go to the public, but now that looks like a result I don't want, so I'd vote against that anyway. So a plebiscite is now going to take too long, cost a fortune, and be fucking pointless. In other words, government as usual. So how does the Australian Christian lobby plan to stop this? Well, they want to do it with a campaign of hate and lies. How do I know it? Because they pretty much said it when they said, you know what? The anti-discrimination laws, they should be suspended while we're running our campaign. Not that we want to do anything hateful or incite violence or intolerance, but you should get rid of any laws that would punish us for doing that. Just for reasons. Oh, and I do want to throw out, you know, Christian friends out there, I know this isn't you. I know this group doesn't represent you. You're not like that. This is a minority fringe group. Although they call themselves the Australian Christian lobby, they're only supported by quite a small minority of Christians. Incidentally, if you think you're my friend and you do support them or condone them or make excuses for them, you're not my friend, okay? That's some bullshit right there. But if they can't do hate, they'll do logic. And their leader did this flawlessly in an argument. A lot of people say, what is your problem? Why do you care if people who love each other get married? How does that affect you? You say it affects the sanctity of marriage. What about all these ridiculous stunt marriages? Divorces after a really short amount of time. That's threatening marriage, not people who are really in love and want to commit to one another and have that recognised legally. How does that threaten marriage? Well, he had an absolutely flawless answer. Namely, it would affect his marriage. Because if he tells someone now that he's married, they know he's married to a woman. But if the gays were allowed to get married and he said he was married, it is possible someone might think he's married to a man. I'm telling you now, there are a bunch of people who give a shit who this clown is married to. So I'm sorry, the gays, you're not going to get married because that logic's unassailable. And don't go trying to be clever and saying, oh, by that logic, really just because you're a male and some males are gay, people might think you're gay. And there's no other reason they might think that apart from all the cases around the world of prominent anti-gay campaigners being self-hating, closeted gays who get caught in a gay bar or with an escort. As just, you know, that guy, what are the chances that he's fucked up, self-loathing and can't accept who he actually is? Like, barely above 50%, I'd say.